Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So obviously we had a ton of crazy LEC news coming out, a ton of wild stories surrounding G2 and what exactly is going on with their entire roster. We had Carlos kind of going crazy on Twitter, replying to a bunch of people, saying a bunch of stuff, honestly dropping some really interesting and really big bombs, but also just kind of stirring the pot a ton as well. And it was really hard to make sense of a lot of these situations and really digest everything and fully understand what is exactly going on, what has happened so far in this offseason, and what is going to happen next. But one of the biggest stories to come out of this whole thing is obviously a video I already covered, which was the fact that Bloop is saying that Rekkles is 100% gone from G2 in 2022. And that led people into this whole thing of like, why is he leaving? What happened? All of this. And we may have finally got some answers about why. Bloop has now dropped another bomb on us surrounding the whole G2 situation. Obviously, there's, conflicting messages, conflicting rumors and everything, but we might understand the situation a little bit better, and this might be starting to make a little bit more sense. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to today on all my latest content. I would appreciate it a ton. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're getting close. We're on track. We're on pace, but we got to keep pumping out the content. We got to have people keeping to click that button, and consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. With that being said, here we go, getting right into this one. So we have this story from Bloop here. Again, at first he tweeted out, Rekkles will not be a part of G2 Esports LEC team in 2022. He said the relationship between the two is frayed. He also has tweets on his Twitter account where I believe if it'll load, we can scroll down a little bit. He says, yes, he is 100% confident on Rekkles leaving. He has all these things going on. And part of the reason why, what he is saying, what he is hearing, the rumor going around from sources close to the team is that one of the main reasons the team and player are parting ways is the fact that both Jankos and Caps did not want to play with Rekkles for another year, according to multiple sources close to the team. This is a very big bomb. Obviously, we have already had Caps and Rekkles together once with Fnatic, and things went very well. 2018 Fnatic made it all the way to the World Finals before Caps, shockingly left because he had differences with the team. He didn't like the environment of Fnatic. He had differences that he felt like, we're not going to be fixed. We're not going to be able to come to solution. So he moved on to what he felt was a bigger and better opportunity in G2, and I think it has proved to be just that for Caps so far. I don't really think people are knocking the decision Caps made. But then obviously him and Rekkles pairing up once again, it seemed like, okay, so at Fnatic it must not have been Rekkles that had an issue with Caps. It must not have been Rekkles that Caps had an issue with. Maybe these things can still work out. But yet again, here we are with Caps having an issue with Rekkles and Jankos too. And this is kind of interesting because I have heard people talk about some of the voice comms for G2 throughout the season where it seemed like for the first time this iteration of G2, was a little bit chippy with each other, had a little bit of words for each other, lost a little bit of confidence in each other. We always knew this team as a team that was on the same page. They were willing to go for the crazy play. They were willing to do the crazy draft. They were willing to do, whatever it took. And it always worked. Things always broke their way. They were dominant in the LEC. They won a bunch of titles. They went to Worlds. Overall, things went pretty damn good, especially considering they're a team from the West. But this year, things were a little bit different. There was, talk of them questioning their drafts. There was talk of them questioning their play, maybe looking for scapegoats, maybe looking to blame people, maybe looking to point fingers. And this might just be another instance of that. Again, Rekkles getting some of the blame. We know that Rekkles has a different play style, a different philosophy than a lot of these players, but that doesn't mean they can't make it work. That doesn't mean they can't coexist on the same team in the same roster. Again, Caps and Rekkles have made it to a world final before together. They've shown that it can work. But again, after a season as unsuccessful as G2 just had, not making it to MSI, not making it to Worlds, not even making it to an LEC final, I'm not surprised that, there is some finger pointing, that there is some blaming and stuff going around because this was a team that was expecting great things from this season. This was a team that was just in the World semifinal last year. They lost to the team that ended up winning World, so you really could make a case that G2 was potentially the second best team in the world last year. And they, brought in Rekkles, who was seen as an upgrade of Perks, and they expected things to go well. And obviously with them not that is very, very interesting. So this could be a big part of the reason. Again, Bloop is one of the biggest and best investigative reporters in the League of Legends esports scene. He is one of the most trusted. He has a name and a face. He has a reputation. He has a career out of this. And he's not one of the, he's not like a, piss random rumor account that's just like spouting off random stuff. He usually has a pretty good idea of what is going on. Now, obviously, Carlos has come out and he said fake news. This is not necessarily directly in response to what Bloop is saying, but he does have some words for people, saying that the transfer window hasn't even opened yet, to calm the fuck down. And he's also saying that some of the stories coming out today are true. He did say that on Twitter, but he also said some of the stories coming out today are not entirely true or are just straight up false. Again, a lot of people say you can't really trust Carlos. You don't ever really know if he's telling the truth. You don't ever really know what's going on because, as people said here, they just posted on Reddit last year from the G2 Esports Reddit account that the entire team from 2020 was going to be sticking together until 2021. Obviously, that didn't end up being true. Now, obviously, that was not Carlos directly himself saying that, but it just means, we don't necessarily always get, the same or the correct answers from G2, from Carlos. And again, every time Carlos tweets, people say it could be a meme, it could be a lie, whatever. I know people have tweeted this at me before, that Carlos says to not take 97.5% of his tweets seriously. So, who knows if this is real or not. But there are a lot of people saying, what is G2 going to do now that Rekkles is gone? If Caps and Jankos want to kick Rekkles, how are they going to replace him? What are they going to do? Obviously, Carzzy is still an option. Carzzy is a guy that G2 is potentially looking at poaching, potentially looking at stealing away from Mad Lions. He is due to be a free agent this offseason. I still think that Hans Sama is going to be a possibility for G2 because I don't expect this Worlds to go that well for Rogue. And I think if Rogue goes like 0-6 or 1-5 or something, has a very, very poor Worlds performance, that some of those players might be a little fed up because they've really made all the changes they can at this point. They have a solid roster. They've shown that they can play well, but for whatever reason, things aren't working. I think it might be a change for that team. Obviously, they've tried out tons of other 80 carries. There's the option for them to go ERLs. There's all this stuff. People are kind of in denial, but it does seem like, again, that the relationship between Rekkles and G2, between Rekkles and some of the players on G2, and potentially even between Rekkles and Carlos, is not going good right now, that it is bad, that it is in a spot that is potentially irreparable, and man, I mean, this just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I expected to get some Rekkles news, obviously. I thought the story was heating up, but I did not expect something like this. I did not expect for Rekkles to be out because of fellow players on the team turning on him, but it is kind of interesting. Another interesting thing from this tweet is actually here, Caps already renewed his contract. Caps is re-signed until 2023 now, and Bloop also says that Jankos is expected to renew, so Rekkles has no place there. If Jankos and Caps don't want to play with Rekkles, and they're both, renewing contracts, that kind of points toward Rekkles being gone. But also the fact that Jankos could renew his contract. Jankos right now is signed until 2022. If he's going to re-sign, that means they could potentially be locking him up until 2023. Obviously, there's been rumors of him potentially becoming a full-time content creator. There's been rumors of him potentially, going to the LCS or something like that. If G2 is able to lock him up for more years, that could be a very, very big and very, very influential move for G2 as far as rebuilding, as far as, just roster building in the future, being able to attract other free agents. And obviously, just in terms of gameplay on the Rift, I think Jankos is coming off a very, very good season. I do not blame him for G2's faults this year. And if it does come out that Jankos and G2 are able to agree on a longer-term extension to his contract, that's a very, very big piece of news that just kind of, pocketed into this tweet about some other very, very spicy drama. But man, the offseason's heating up. Things are getting crazy. The drama is out there. The stories are out there. And Worlds is right around the corner. This is an amazing time to be a League of Legends esports fan. But that is pretty much every video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think that Jankos and Caps are doing Rekkles dirty? Or do you think that, them splitting up is for the best? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.